The Bulls have 3 seconds to try a shot and try to win the game.
This is the Notebook Wagering Show on the Wild Style Network. Here are your hosts, Q, Smitty, Matt, and J Cam.
Hey, it's Wednesday night. The boys are back, and especially Q. He is in studio with me, and I'm so pumped up tonight, man. We're live from the Salisbury Center, fueled by Monster Energy. Man, do we have a jam-packed show tonight.
It's exciting.
We're going to talk college football.
It's kind of like opening day.
Man, let's go. We do one of the greatest jobs breaking down conferences, so we're excited to do that. We're going to do that in a little bit. We're going to try to get some winners here in the Major League card tonight. We're going to break down golf really fast. Then we're going to dive into the ACC conference, and then we're going to throw out a little preseason here at the end. Let's go really quick to the guys up in Pittsburgh really fast. J-Cam, how are you tonight?
I'm good. We made it. We got the football.
We got
through the summer.
The summer doldrums.
We're finally here. We're starting off with the ACC, and we'll like the other swan song. But I'm just glad we've got football.
I love it. Matty, what's going on up there, buddy?
Here it is, buddy. You can see it. Phil Steele. It's officially here. You need the guy, Smitty. It's you.
You know, we were literally just talking about that guy and how we actually are against it.
Oh,
and I'll tell you why. One, you look at Athlon, you look at VEASAN. They obviously give you their synopsis. They have the stats. They have the schedule. But they also give what they predict over and under. And I'm not saying they're going to pick game by game, but they give you over and under in their opinion. Steel One doesn't do that, and you need a magnifying glass to read his.
That's what I was just going to say. When you're turning...
he's giving me stats from the 2017 defense.
When you're getting up there in age like us, especially maybe two of us or three of us, you need some glass. Like, I got to hold that back like this.
Listen, I got 20/20 vision, and I can't read it.
You're not... Man, I think... Well, first of all, you don't need the over-under from these guys. That's why we're here, to tell you what it is.
Well, I agree, but, you know, you do like to see what your colleagues are putting out, and you also don't... But
maybe they're blowing smoke up your rectum.
Well, maybe. In the stats, I don't care about the 2017 defense because none of those guys are there.
Well, that's not true. Stetson Bennett was there last year.
I said defense. He's offense.
Hey, there is some really good materials out there, so everyone has an opinion.
It is one of the best, though.
He is, and Phil Steele is one of the best. So, yeah, so everyone can have their opinion. And so, hey, listen, if you are tuning in live tonight, man, any questions, anything with sports, throw it out there tonight. Any ACC teams you like or Major League Baseball plays, please throw it out there. Or the golf, the playoffs. We're talking about playoffs and golf. And
playoffs.
Playoffs. What are we talking about? All right, here we go, man. What do we try to do every week here? We're going to try to win some money.
Like it.
That's what we're trying to do, and we're going to try to win you some money tonight. So we've been doing pretty good on these late baseball plays for you. So we're going to chime this out really, really quick here. So first game, 8-10. It's 7:34 right now, 8-10. We got the Yankees against the White Sox. I thought this was a Severino game. And earlier in the day, it was a Severino. And I was like already going, oh, man, I'm jumping on the White Sox because anytime Severino pitches.
Yeah, they got Ian Hamilton now.
Yes, and he seems like an opener. So maybe.
He's an opener.
It's a bullpen day.
So, Jason, because you're always on this kind of stuff, do you think Severino's coming in after this?
No, I don't think so. I think they probably pushed him back.
Yeah,
I
they got pushed. Yeah, I agree.
All right, so I jumped on this still. So I jumped on this a little bit ago. I am on the White Sox tonight. I posted it on Twitter with my card. I gave out another 4 plays tonight. One of them was best bet. That was on Sharp Angle Syndicate. I played the Blue Jays money line on that. But I'm on the White Sox tonight. You know, I just look at this, the Yankees with an opener. I don't know who else they're going to bring in here. I'm going to take a shot with the White Sox to get a little winner here tonight. Anybody else like this game?
I'm off of it.
It's so hard, man, because both of these teams are just like they've called it a season.
Yeah,
like there's no life here. The White Sox are getting fights and getting beat up, and the Yankees are getting beat up by their media. So I don't know. I'm going to pass on this one too.
Well, the Yankees have life, but it's not good life. I mean, Judge is back.
Now they're talking. I saw rumors there's a lot of people want Cashman gone as the new spec. I mean, it's bad time to be a Yankees fan, to be a part of the Yankees organization. And the White Sox. I mean, you just had your shortstop get KO'd at second base. This is bad.
Squared up. He asked for the smoke, and the smoke was
he did. He doubled down. He said, "We'll handle it later on this season." Like, buddy, what are you bringing brass knuckles? Because you need them.
So,
Aaron Boone, street fight. Aaron Boone on a lighter note had one of the best umpire impersonations the other night, though.
Yeah,
but he got booted, man. That was classic. But
he was right. Did you see that strike zone?
He was absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yeah. He knows the stuff. I'll say he's usually right when he gets thrown out. It's just he obviously gets thrown out.
Yeah, it was funny, though.
Oh, great.
All right, so I'm the only one on the White Sox tonight in that game.
That's a DJing game.
That's the side I would go if I was going to pick between the two. But like I said, I have no faith in either of these teams right now.
I do like the next game, though.
I was just trying to play 4 games. That was one I'm going to take a chance on. Okay, here we go. Next game, 9:38. San Francisco against the Angels. You got Walker, which is an opener, it looks like. Tawny is going for the Angels tonight. This was a big line. I mean, it opened at minus 112, and it's up to minus 142 right now, what I saw on Scores and Odds. So I am not on this game yet.
Lay the juice. I mean,
I played the Angels last night. I went 4-0 last night. This one I might lean and take the Angels. Maddie, let's start with you here. Are you jumping on this game?
Yeah, I'm complete oppo, though. I'm on the Giants plus money and Giants run line twice.
Wow. Okay. I like it.
I think Shohei's finally realizing that Anaheim is not going to be his final destination. I think the dude is doing it all. Look at the other night. He was 2 for 4, I think, a home run, pitched those innings, and they still lost 4-3 or something. He's got to be getting burned out. I'm on the Giants.
Okay. Giants. Q, you seem like you're on this game. What do you have?
Yeah, I like the Angels. It seems like they still have false hope. They definitely, I think, shot themselves in the foot by looking at 3.5 games out, thinking they had a shot with all those injuries. It's not sustainable, but you're not hearing the white flags, whipping in the wind out in Anaheim right now. So they still think they can win. I like Ohtani against a Giants offense that isn't going to wow you every night. They're not going to put up, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs all the time. It's a bullpen game for the Giants. I think they can squeak it out. I think Ohtani can go a little deeper against this Giants lineup. So I would lay the juice here. I think they're going to get that done.
Yeah, I'd be a Q on this one too. I think I like Ohtani here. Like the Angels don't know they're dead yet. But,
and that's so weird.
I hate taking bullpen games because you really don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And it's not one of the situations too. Like they're starting a right-hander. If they bring a lefty in, try to flip platoons. LA actually hits lefties really well, so they don't have that advantage in this game. So yeah, I'll lay to 135 here with the Angels, even though they haven't been exactly knocking the door down here.
Yeah, I like that. Some different opinions on that game, so pick your side there. All right, 9:40. We got the Dodgers against Arizona. Man, what in the world happened to Arizona?
Their talent just leveled out.
Wow.
Yeah, starting pitching is just not good enough.
Yeah.
Pitching.
Yeah, that's...
when you only got to worry about Zach Gallen. Yeah, they're a young team. They're good. They're just not quite there.
The lineup's really nice. Yeah,
it is. It kind of reminds me of like the Marlins. Like you could see the talent, but it's just not 100% translating into wins like the Braves have. The Braves have superstars. The Marlins and the Diamondbacks have up and comers that you can just truly see and vision and say that guy's going to be legit.
Can I just say this? We talked about on the show when the trade deadline came, and some of these teams really didn't do much. Do you think that's starting to bite them in the butt?
Yep.
Look at the Reds. Didn't do anything. Arizona, I don't think they did anything, if I remember.
Reds didn't do anything, and then they lost, 2 or 3 to the Nats.
Well, I'm just saying the Reds have lost a lot out of the break.
The Diamondbacks.
But then
you... a closer, Smitty, but it didn't pan out.
Oh, they did.
Well, they needed a starter.
They did. They did trade that closer, which was kind of... And then you have a team like Anaheim that did make a lot of moves, and they lost 6 straight, I think, after the deadline. So, it can kind of backfire.
But I think they should have sold, not bought.
So, we talked about Flaherty. I want to see how Flaherty pitches tonight for Baltimore again because That's a guy that, we were like on the fence. Not a great.
Well, he's down 3-0.
Okay, he pitched great the first game. So, all right, there we go. So, all right, let's give out a winner here. Dodgers, Arizona. Anybody on this? You got Miller against Kelly tonight. Arizona's lost, I believe, like
5 in a row.
5 in a row. I was going to say 6 in a row.
It might have been 6.
I have not jumped on this, so let's go to Matt first in this one. Matty, are you going to jump and try to win some money on this game?
Yes, Arizona's lost 7 in a row. Let's make it 8 tonight. Dodgers are hot. They can still hit the ball. And I know their moves were minimal, but they seem to be good enough, and I think they're going to get it done again tonight. So I'll take Dodgers.
They have my favorite reliever.
Joe Kelly.
Man, when you can just throw 2 high and tighters and then get a K looking, he just intimidates you. He brings another facet. And again, he was there, in their other World Series runs. He's a guy that knows the system. He's there to punch a time card and get to work. He's not there because he's a superstar, but he gets the job done out of fear. I think we're actually undergrading that move. It was minimal, but I think it's massive for that team. He's a leader. He fires those guys up, screaming, cuss words right at batters. He's throwing at their chin, makes you uncomfortable. Give me the Dodgers. They just know how to get hot at the right time. It's post All-Star break. They're rolling. They're there to win a World Series, and they're going to win tonight.
All right, Jason, make it.
Yeah, I like
let's
the
throw
Dodgers.
the hat.
Bobby
Let's throw the hat trick.
Bobby Miller's starting to come around.
Yes, he is.
Really good last month. Dodgers the last month, weighted runs created 145 against 93 for the Arizona there. That just looks like they've got a little bit of an advantage. Plus the bullpen for the Dodgers starting to shape up with the addition of Joe Kelly, as Q mentioned. So, I like the Dodgers here, especially a decent price, too, minus 135.
Man, I don't want to be the lone wolf on Arizona. And
Arizona's not playing for anything.
And I'm not going to be, because I don't know there's some good ones. I might be jumping in late tonight on some games here, because I kind of like this.
What's Arizona playing for?
Well, they're still.
And here, I'll give you another stat.
They're not that far out, Q.
What do you think Merrill Kelly's lifetime stat is against the Dodgers?
You said you had a good stat. What is the stat?
0-10.
0-10.
0-1
in 2 appearances this year.
Not bad numbers.
He's going to be 0-11.
9-5, 3.21 ERA. Listen, I like the line move. Scores and odds. I'm looking at it open at minus 126 up to minus 144 in this. I'm going to jump with the boys. I'm going to go Dodgers here tonight, too. I like that. Next game, really quick here. The last game of the night, Padres, Mariners. This Padres team. Oh, my goodness.
I don't know how to. I stayed off. I don't know how to go with this game.
Darvish is going for San Diego. I think, did Seattle finally figure out a starter?
It says Emerson Hancock.
I think it is Hancock.
So Emerson Hancock is actually was the highest prospect out of all the starting pitchers they had. He just hasn't kind of figured it out yet. But stuff wise, in 2020 draft, people thought he was the best pitcher to get out of that draft, and he's kind of struggling a little bit. So he's been passed up by Wu, and he's been passed up by the other Miller. But they're finally giving him a shot against a team that, the Padres here, you never know what you're going to get. That's a good lineup, though, for a rookie to face.
Yeah.
All right, just throw it out. Anybody? Jumping? Good.
I'm off of it.
Good line. Jump on scores and odds. Open minus 130 for San Diego, up to minus 154 for San Diego. So a major jump here on that. I know Matty. Come on, Matty.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you. I'm totally off. I don't know what. I don't know what.
I just saw what team shows up.
Yeah, but for both of them.
Yeah, both.
The Mariners are playing better, and they're alive again for the playoffs. Yeah, but I still don't know who they are, and especially San Diego's just they need to. They should have tore it down at the trade deadline, and they did a huge mistake because that's going to burn them.
I agree.
Good point. I agree too. So, all right, that's the baseball card tonight. So you got some time, jump in there, and let's try to win some money tonight. Hey, let's bounce into golf really fast here. Man, last week was the best week, guys, I had all year. Wyndham Championship. Man, Russell Henley. I gave out. That was one of my biggest cards all year. I even added Justin Thomas late top 10, and man, he got 11th place in that tournament. But I did really well. I had Brendan Todd that we gave out on the show last week, top 20. He was a winner easily. Billy Horschel was up there. I had that top 20. Webb Simpson, myself, Jason, we talked about that last week. That was just a guy that for the course, he was always there. That was an easy top 20. But Russell Henley, I needed to win in top 5. Got the top 5. So the big thing, that delay might have cost a lot. Because he just came out and I think he birdied the first hole after the delay, and then he had bad luck. The ball fell in the divot, and then he bogeyed, and good for Lucas Glover. It seems like a pretty good player, too. So this is the playoffs. So we're at the FedEx St. Jude down in Memphis. I believe it's in Memphis for this one.
Yeah.
And this is a little different. I mean, I got to dive into this, because you're looking at this, and after you got 70 guys in this one, top 70 guys made it. There's no cut. So they play all 4 rounds. I think it's, I wrote it down. I thought I wrote it down, but I don't think I did. Pretty good purse if they win this. And then they take the top 50.
Isn't it bumped to 20?
I think it is 20.
20 mil.
Yeah.
20 mil. That's correct. Yeah. Then it's the top 50. And then after that one, it's the top 30. And then that's when those guys get if they're in first place. Jason's agreeing with me, so I sound intelligent. So I'm just going to keep going here with this. And then a little bit. Okay, Jason, you can chime in. And it's like school, Ed. If I'm like, you should have said, you said this and it should have been that. But isn't it
No. I'm like, hey, you're rolling.
But isn't it like points then after that? Like they're minus 10 and then there's minus.
So, yeah, they set a score. So they go off like they've already played a round, and whoever's in the first, let's go with this week's standings. Like Scheffler would start off at minus 10.
Yeah.
And then the next guy would be minus 7. So they kind of stagger.
You got to catch him.
You got to catch.
Yeah,
so if you're top 30, you got your work cut out for you. You're basically just trying to win some money.
You're trying
at that point.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it's just.
So that's in a couple weeks. So this one is
wants the 2 champions. That's what they said. The problem with is they'd have a double ceremony at the end of this thing. Here's the guy who won the tournament today, and then here's the guy who won the $10 million. And it didn't make any sense. So
typically, your top 5 are really only in contention.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know who's the farthest anyone's come back to win this. So because that's not an easy course at East Lake, so it's not like you can make a lot of strokes.
So last year, Will Z won this, which he's not in it this year. He's had some injuries here. So
if JT would have made this if he'd have just made that chip that he hit the hit the flagpole.
Hit the flagpole.
If he'd have made it, he'd have been 70.
And his grandmother was going crazy. It was good for her to be there. Good for that. So, all right, Maddie, I always like starting with you. You're the big golf guy on the show here. What are you thinking? Throw some names out. I have not done anything. It was just too busy of a day. I had some family stuff before I came up to do the show. We're going to do some names, throw it out, and then we'll finalize and put it out there on Twitter. So what do you got, Maddie? What's some names?
Well, the key to this is we're back to Bermuda Greens. So look out who's good on the Bermuda Greens. One name I have fallen back to a few times now. Sam Burns, 35-1. So I'm going to put some fun money on him. And I'm going to ride a heat wave of JT Poston again. He is on fire. I mean, he had a shot at last week. He's been in contention basically 5 straight weeks. He might crack through. I don't like the big names this week. I don't like the chalk because they've been on hiatus. Harmon hasn't played since the British. Rahm and these other guys as well. So I think they're going to come in and they know they're going to be bounced into next week. So they don't have to kill it. I think it's kind of a tune-up. So the guys I'm rolling with in order, Sam Burns, 35-1, JT Poston, 55-1. I like Tyrrell Hatton. And for the first time all year, I'm actually on Ricky Fowler. And then one long shot, Adam Svensson, the Canadian, I really like as well. But I'm still going to dig in. A lot of course history here is in play, and the guys that I rattled off actually do play well here. Burns and Hatton have done really well here in prior years. So,
all right, I like some of those names. I'm going to let Jason, and then I'll bounce in here with some names too. But Maddie, nice. I really like that card. Good job, Jason. What do you have?
Yes, I also have JT Poston here, and Pam Maldonado, a friend of the show, she's on him. She had that earlier this morning. She released it. So I've got Poston top 20 and top 10s. it's really tricky to find value here because it's a limited field. You can't really go with the deep numbers, so you kind of have to pick who's going to be in the top 10 and to win. So Hideki Matsuyama, I have him for top Asian at plus 333. I also have him as a top 10 guy. He's got a pretty good track record here, and he's been playing the last couple of weeks. So I think he's in pretty good form. Some of these guys have been taking some time off.
Second in 2021.
There you go.
Yep.
And then I got Matt Fitzpatrick, who we haven't seen as much, but a horse for the course plays really well here at Southwind. So I'm going to take him for a plus, or top 10 in the top 5. So those are the 3 I'm focused on. It'll be interesting to see. Like I said, we haven't seen some of these guys since the British, so I'm kind of intrigued what they're going to look like coming out here. They've kind of messed with this course a little bit. It used to be one of the easier courses on tour, but they've narrowed some fairways, and they've kind of made it more of a venue that, fitting of a playoff. So, but I don't know. I liked last week watching the guys' numbers go in and out of the top 70. I thought that was actually an underrated part of that tournament. And I thought CBS did a fantastic job of keeping track of when the people were in. And watching Horschel was the most interesting one. When you see him climb up to first, you see him, he's 53rd spot. You're like, oh, he's locked in. All of a sudden you make a bogey down to second and he'd be tied for second. He's down to 72. It's like, wow. That's how far on the line he was on. So really good drama. So I think they kind of undersold that with the broadcast. I think that made it actually really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, this one, usually it's really warm in this area, and they said keep an eye. I listened to a show the other day, and they said it could get some rain again, and it could get really windy. And this is the course, this area has really been hit with rain. So they said these are tiny greens, so it could be a little bit more soft in the course. And this rough, everything you've been reading and hearing from some of these players, you get out, don't get in that rough. They said it's tough to kind of control the ball. You want to stay in the fairways. So I really like both of the guys' cards here, like some of the names they thrown out. I had Fitzpatrick because Jason said it, 5th, 57th, 6th, and 4th in the last time. So we've been kind of talking. Webb Simpson last week was one that Jason brought up, and I really like too. I like what Matt said about Sam Burns. This guy has done really well here too. 20th last year, 2nd in 2021. I like at JT. JT's another one that both you guys brought up. Pam did bring that up on a great video that she usually does always. So I really like that. So I'm going to add a couple players. I'm going to look a little bit more tonight, but I mean, you guys really, I thought, hammered it very well here. So Q, I know you don't dive into this a lot. Is there anybody? Nope, you're going to...
I'm ready for college football.
Okay, let's go college football. All right. Hey, golf.
I'm going to watch.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's go college football, everybody. This is what we've been waiting for a long time. Let's get into it. ACC breakdown. We're going to do a little different this year.
Yeah, last year we just took too much time, breaking down every team. So why don't we...
There's some teams we don't have to break down in the ACC that I looked at here.
Yeah.
So
it's brutal for some teams.
So why don't we do this first? Why don't we just just bounce and go, who do you think's maybe the top 2 that you think's going to be right there? And I think this is a conference that there's 2 that really kind of stands out, but I mean, you never know. And then we're going to try to go with some under the radar teams that we think maybe looking at and reading some things that we like. And then maybe we can look at some of the over-unders and try to get you some winners on this. So, Jason, let's start off with you. Overall, 2 best teams in the ACC this year. Who do you think they are?
I think it's going to be the same answer for all of us. I'm pretty sure it's Florida State and Clemson in some order.
Yeah, maybe we can save some time.
In unison.
You can save some time on that one. It does seem like this conference does seem like it's a bit tiered, where you have this top 2, there's a group of teams right underneath them, and then kind of everybody else. It kind of has broken down that way. And, it's pretty clear when you look at the positions and everything else that Florida State has done a fantastic job using the portal. Clemson doesn't touch the portal, but they recruit pretty well. So it's going to come down to basically, I think, quarterback play. So I'm leaning with Florida State over Clemson right now. I'm not a big Klubnik guy. I know they have a new OC. We'll see how that translates, but those are my top 2. Hugh, what do you got?
Same. I think I don't know if I'm as high on Florida State just because they're a team that year in and year out, they always have a bad loss on their schedule. I don't know. Travis Hunter, I think he's really talented. He makes a lot of dumb passes. Now, he did clean that up significantly last year. I think they're going to be right on that 10-win mark, and I'll talk about them a little more. But Clemson, what do you get at them? I mean, they have a stud running back, obviously great coach. They always perform well just because of their schedule. It's going to be interesting this year with the top two. Matt, why don't you go? And I'll break down my reasonings in a little bit.
When you said Travis Hunter, did you mean Jordan Travis?
Travis, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you get a Gator talking about Seminoles, he starts getting all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I completely agree with both of you guys. It's Florida State 1, Clemson 2. I think they're the only two that have a reasonable shot to make anything with the playoffs. And I think it comes down to the two quarterbacks and like pedigrees. So it's Drake May is going to have Carolina kind of in contention, but I don't think they can topple these two. So Jordan Travis, I still think is a Heisman possibility. And Clemson actually has two running backs. They have a kid behind Shipley that is fantastic as well. Their talent is still loaded.
Yeah.
And they're going to load again. I do like Klubnik, unlike Jason. I think he just needs a little seasoning. So
I do too.
Yeah, but I think it's pretty simple though. It's 1 Florida State, 2 Clemson for me. Smitty?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same two teams. I like Clemson. I like, we broke down both the quarterbacks last week when we talked about the Heisman. I think both those quarterbacks from Florida State and Clemson are going to be there. I'm a little higher, Matt. I'm with you with Klubnik. I kind of like the kid. I wish he would have been starting and playing a lot more over DJ for Clemson. Now, the big thing is they brought in a new offensive coordinator from TCU. You gotta open this up a little bit. You gotta get this. I like Shipley, the running back, on this. I do believe they host Florida State September 23rd on this. I like the defense from Clemson also. Their favorite, I think, in all their games. I think the over-under's 10 with them, which I kind of really like this.
It is.
I mean, I think it's going to break it down. I really like Florida State. I mean, this is a guy, and I think this is why you don't just always get rid of a coach really fast. This guy has really turned this program back around. I think they're going in the right direction. I really like a lot of things about this Florida State team. If you look at the schedule, though, I mean, they open up with LSU. And I don't know off the top, and I did not write it in my notes, so I apologize, but I'm not sure where that game is. But I know it's probably a neutral game somewhere.
It is.
Well, lovely Orlando.
Neutral site.
Okay.
It's going to be a home game, though, I think, for Florida State.
Because last year was a home game for LSU.
Yeah.
Well, Tiger fans travel, so Florida's warm enough for them to go to.
Yeah.
You look
That's
at
a tough game, though.
and then you look at they're at Clemson.
Well, there's 3 games that really only matter on their schedule. LSU, Clemson, and
I have
Florida.
4. I have 4.
Who's your 4th?
Well,
LSU, Clemson.
I'm not gonna steal Jason's thunder. I'm gonna let Jason say this. Jason, I think, put this in a text today. Jason, what's their other tough game?
Going up to the north to Acrisure Stadium, facing the always upset-minded Pitt Panthers on a perfect trap situation right before Miami.
I have that down in the notebook too. When you wrote that today, I was like, I think I have that down in the notebook. I got to see when I get home.
So to me, these two teams, the biggest difference in Clemson and Florida State is that the spacing of their schedule is much better for the Seminoles. Like they play LSU, but then they have a couple weeks off, and then they go up for Clemson, and they have a couple weeks off, and then Pitt and Miami are kind of lumped together, and they finish with Florida, which is always a bloodbath, no matter what the teams are at. Now, if you look at Clemson's schedule, it's kind of backloaded. I think it's like 6 of the last 7 games are really their whole schedule.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting how long they hold up. Now, that gives them time to put that offense in and kind of get a little more familiar with the TCU offense, but it's really going to be a week-to-week grind there for the end where I don't see Florida State having that issue.
Yeah, let me just jump in because I have that too. I marked down the notebook here with Clemson, and I still do like Clemson. But Jason, I think, made a great point there. October 21st at Miami. I'm going to talk about Miami here, hopefully in a little bit here. NC State, not that high on NC State, but still it's at NC State. And then that last November 25th at South Carolina. I like that South Carolina program. And I'm not saying that because we get Steve Tannehill on the show.
They're on the rise.
I like that South Carolina program. So I think Jason made a good point there. Late in the season, they do have some tough games there. Maddie, you want to add anything with this?
Yeah. I'm going to touch on your NC State. And Jason in our friendly text string today was throwing out some fun teams. He threw out Duke and NC State, and I had to poo-poo that so we don't blow our wants off air. But NC State transfer, Brennan Armstrong from UVA, the quarterback. Now, he stunk last year. Brand new offense was put into place, and he just didn't get it. Lo and behold, who comes to be the OC for the Wolfpack this year? Robert Anai, his former OC with Virginia. And the last time they were paired up, Armstrong had 4,449 yards and 31 touchdowns and had a great year for UVA. He's got great talent with North Carolina State. They are highly underrated. They have some really good players. Nobody that's going to stand out. But I think they're going to be that grind-them-out team. And if you're looking for a futures bet, take the Wolfpack over 6.5 wins this year. Now, it's going to be tight. I think they get to 7, but that's a sweat, but I do like it.
This is kind of a program that likes to be in this position rather than the position where last year where they had expectations. They don't handle expectations well. This year they're kind of under the radar a little bit. And like you mentioned, there's some good things. It's whether they have the skill talent, though. Their offense has been so pathetic in his last couple of years. It's really held them back. That defense last year was awesome and had no support. So I want to throw the question out. So if Clemson and Florida State go to the Big Ten tomorrow, who do you have winning this conference this year?
Duke or Miami?
You know what I was going to say before we came into this? Like, we're going to try to break this down, but the biggest thing, and that's a shame, is where all these teams are going to go. Yeah. No one's talking about the season. Everyone's talking about what team's going to the Big Ten, who's leaving the ACC, and the rivalries, and, what a shame for college football. But great question, Jason. So, man, I'll go here. I'm going to go back. Man, there's 2 teams I kind of like.
Let's hear it.
Okay, let me go 2 teams here. I'm going to go first with Miami. Miami crushed me last year because
I think you're going to get the same this year.
I jumped. You're just saying that to piss off.
No, I really think so.
Maybe. Okay, we'll come in there. So here's the thing. Here's the thing with Miami. They crushed me last year because I took an over win total, and I always like to throw just a crazy flyer on the Heisman, and I did with Van Dyke, the quarterback, and he was bad. That team was bad. I'm not a big Cristobal guy.
Cristobal, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not he didn't impress me at Oregon, time management and everything like that. But the thing is, if you look, they're bringing back, I think, 19 guys back, starters. I like some of the things in this. 7, they're favored in 7 games off the VSiN guide. The win total's 7.5, but they have some close ones. They bring in a new offensive, I think, coordinator, an air raid guy, so they're going to try to open it up.
I think he came out of Houston.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can this kid bounce back? That's the key. If this kid could bounce back to 2 years ago, I think this team's okay. So that's one of my teams. I'm not going to steal all the time. Jason, who do you have? Who would win it?
Oh, so you took the Canes, right?
I have another team, but I'm going to go with the Canes. I might chime in, just say, if someone says this team, I'll be like, yeah, I like that team too.
So, looking at it, I mean, the Canes' defense is clearly going to carry them. I'm not as high on NC State. I think that they've just lost too much for a program at that level. A team that would, for a price, I'm not taking Duke. I like Duke. They're way more talented than I thought they'd ever be. But I'm actually going to lean Louisville, who I think has a better schedule.
Okay, that was my other team. That was my other team.
They got the Braum story.
Yeah, you got Braum, who I actually respect. I think he's done a really good job at the 2 stops he's been at. And he's got his quarterback who knows the system, so there's not a transition there. They actually, all their defensive units are ranked in Phil Steele nationally, which is kind of a surprise considering what a horrible job Satterfield did there. So I said with the schedule and with the quarterback, I kind of see them as a little bit of a sleeper in this group, but there's definitely some other ones that you can look at. Maddie, who are you taking here?
So if we're saying Florida State and Clemson both, who's going to win this?
Yeah, the hypothetical that theoretically may not be hypothetical.
Just give me the best quarterback and the most talent around him, and I'm going to go with Carolina. It's too easy of a pick, and I think it's too blasé of a pick as well. But Drake May is really good. They probably have the best coach then, and Mac Brown and everybody else. I mean, they've reloaded a lot. They've lost a lot.
They just can't stop anybody.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
No, and they're one of these teams that always gets a bad loss in there too. Some crumb bum. Like I hate to say it, I could see them going to Pitt and choking away a game. Some crazy shootout, 35-34 nonsense score. But they actually have a pretty manageable schedule until the final 3 games, and then they're really going to get pushed. So, I mean, they got App State on there. They have Campbell.
They have a tough opener, Matty.
App State's not. Yeah, I mean, that's tough.
At South Carolina. Tough.
App State took them, to double overtime last year?
Yes, it is. 63-61.
Yeah.
That's the game where they could choke away, Q. That's one of them in there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the game I think they could choke away just because they've been so bad at defending the run outside of conference is Minnesota. I think PJ Fleck is going to run the ball 78 times. And he'll get applause.
81 plays.
Whoever their running back is that week, take it off Jason. Take him in fantasy.
I'm for college fantasy that week.
I don't know who Minnesota's running back is anymore because Ibrahim's gone.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Doesn't matter. Feed him the rock.
No,
better show.
So UNC, Beeson has them the 3rd best team. And again, I agree. I think Matt made a great point there. Mac Brown, unbelievable coach. Quarterbacks, really good. But again, I had some things down in my notebook, reading some things and looking at some things. Question mark running back. I'm not sure. They did get a kid from Kent State that had a pretty good year at Kent State last year in the MAC coming in there. Offensive line, everything I read and looking at some things, I have a big question mark there. Are they going to give this kid time to throw the ball? Defense, like Q said, major problem. They just can't stop anybody. Now, they're shootouts. They're fun games to watch. Talented team. Now, the thing with the Beeson, they had them favored in 11 games. You play 12. They're favored in 11 that I wrote down. So they're over.
It is an easy schedule.
Their over-under is, now if it's updated, I have it down as 8.5. So that's one right there.
I'll tell you right now.
But I'll tell you, I think everybody, and even Matty that really likes this team, said they usually drop a game. I mean, that's what and that happens a lot.
UNC over under 8.5. People are hammering the under. Minus 160.
160. Q just looked it up. What site's that on, Q?
The new ESPN bet.
La-di-da.
DraftKings is just too hard to search for the teams.
ESPN. Okay.
No, I think UNC's plenty talented. It's just, do they play to it?
The schedule.
I think we talked about that last year. Like Maddie pointed out, like you look, they're loaded, but they couldn't stop the run out of conference last year. And like you look,
and how much does Mac Brown care?
Level.
How much does Mac care?
And Chiswick, the defensive coordinator, same thing.
Yeah,
they've already made their names. They've made their money. I agree.
Yeah, Mac's kind of on cruise control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Can we do this real quick?
Well, you guys jumped around, so I do want to give this.
Q? Did Q give us his?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So you guys jumped around before you caught me. I like the over 9.5 for Florida State just because we covered that. Take it. But I do actually think there's 3 games that are tough, and you guys can mock me, you guys can laugh at me, but I think Florida gets them this year.
Florida gets them.
And I'll tell you what, real quick, why Florida's defense is much improved with Armstrong coming in. It didn't seem like Tony really had them together. And then everything out of camp is saying, like, the communication's there, and they didn't have that last year. They were playing lost, and they've got that back. They have a really good 2 running back system, and I think Graham Mertz is actually going to shock some people. Billy Napier's actually done really well in the wide receivers in a quarterback position as assistants. He doesn't need him to be a superstar. He just needs them to not throw interceptions and let his running backs play. And I think Florida's actually going to be improved. And that's a game you just can't always put a Florida State win. I mean, last year the game was a 5-point, 6-point game going into like the last 3 minutes. So that's a tough one. But anyways, take the over 9.5 for Florida State. If you somehow get a 10.5, don't touch it because I see him going 10-2. Take the over in Clemson. Now I see Maddie, and then Maddie, go ahead, and then I'll jump to my mid-tier like we just talked about.
I was going to say something fun, Q. We had an alligator in the Kiski River up here, and I petitioned to have it.
Did you catch it?
Everything is, oh, yeah, they got him. They got him.
That's a sign. Take the Gators.
But I didn't know if you wanted a pet. I wanted them to name him Q, though, so everybody knew around here.
Listen, I'm not saying my Gators are going to go 9-3, but I think they're going to catch that last win at the end. I think they're going to shock some people. Talking with the mid-tiers, I would have to go Duke or UNC. I think UNC's schedule plays to be that if in that scenario. Again, it's like Matt said, what game do they drop? You look at them, they're favored in 11. They're not winning all 11. I mean, we know that. It's just that's how it is. Mac Brown's checked out. Chiswick's checked out. They can't stop the run. You know, it's too much for Drake May to overcome. I like Duke a lot, though. I look at their schedule, and I'm actually going to play the over 6.5 here. And I think it's a lock. They're favored in...
I got them favored in 6.
7.
I got them
7 games. So they're already telling... They went 8-4 last year. They're already telling you that they are favorited in more games than the over. Now, again, I say that with UNC. Duke's discipline. I like the quarterback, Riley Leonard. He's not going to blow you out of the water, but he's going to do the right things. I like Elko. They returned essentially their entire offense and defense. So they have cohesiveness. And when I look at their schedule, I mean, could they cause problems for a Notre Dame at home? Absolutely. I mean, they know Sam Hartman. They've scouted him. You know, Notre Dame isn't, in my opinion, the greatest team ever. You look at their schedule and they can perform at an 8-3 or 8-4, 9-3 again with relative ease and no surprise by me. So those would be my two teams, and I would actually almost lean Duke does better than UNC because Duke can actually stop the run and play defense.
I had, you know, the thing with this conversation tonight is I like UNC. I had them down. I had some question marks, but every team we're going to talk about over the next couple weeks going into the season, you have some question marks. Louisville, Jason brought up. I had them down. I really like them. Now, Miami, you guys might have not agreed with me. That's a team, again, maybe 2 years in a row.
They got Miami at 7.5.
That was a big stinker. Favored in 7. Yeah, but I had that Duke team down too. I really like this Duke team. I think this Duke team.
And they showed they could score last year.
I like the quarterback. And like you said, they have 10 guys coming back with the quarterback, 8 on defense. Guy took a team that was 3-9 to 9-4 in a quick turnaround. And I think Matt even said NC State here. And that was another one that I think Armstrong's going to have a big year. I think Matty made a great point earlier with that. I think that was the key, getting that offensive coordinator
He's going to
back.
feel comfortable.
And Jason really said too, a great thing, because Old Man in the Garage loves NC State college football. And every time when they have big, you know, like, oh, this team's going to be great, it seems like they peter out a little bit. It seems like they start quick and then they kind of die out every year.
Yeah.
With NC
They always
State.
start like 6-0, 7-1.
So
and
die.
I think this is a good spot for NC State too. So
I like them.
I really like. I think we hit on a lot.
Over 6.5, they're going to be an 8-4 team.
They got some good teams right there. If I ask this though, looking over the ACC, who do you think the worst team is?
Oh man,
we're going to hurt Q's feelings because you know where we're going with this.
I mean, I think you could flip a coin between Virginia Tech and UVA, and I don't think you'd be wrong either. I think
Virginia's significantly below Virginia Tech. Or
they have a better
agree
defense than Tech,
too.
though.
Yeah, I think it's those two, but I think Jason's right. I think it's Virginia.
Now, some people have.
Now, I do think Virginia Tech's going to win more games. Now, last year, would they win 3? I think they could get to 5 wins with
I
Pry.
think Virginia Tech's going to win a couple more.
Yeah,
a bunch of one score losses too. I'm trying to look where the stat was.
They had a lot of.
They had
really
by it.
Yeah, they had really good defensive backs, but they just you can only cover for 3 to 4 seconds, and then the receivers got the advantage. Pry's just got to figure out that offense. Now his quarterback stayed the same. I'm not huge on him. The problem is nobody really wants to play at Virginia Tech right now. I mean, you got to win in college football. When you have bad seasons like this, like when Beamer kind of let this program kind of die out late in his run, and then obviously we saw the transition with Fuente, and it just continued on that decline. And then, obviously, I'm drawing a blank, defensive coordinator, the legend, he retires.
Bud Foster,
like it's the program's dying. and they've got to figure out a way to get it back. You just got to have that one season and put it all together. And I think Pry's going to make an improvement. I think they're going to be 5-7 this year. So
I'm not a big fan of Grant. Is it Wells?
Yeah, Grant
quarterback.
Wells.
Yeah. I don't know, but
he doesn't have any weapons either, so it's
No.
hard to judge him.
So it's funny because you look at some of this and they have BC as being the worst team. And then you dive in and you read and you look at some stats and everything like that. I agree with the other two guys. UVA, I think it's going to be bad. I thought they were bad last year. I mean, you got a kid right now. They think that's going to be a quarterback from Monmouth. That's going to be the starter. And, I mean, I watched some games last year and just looking at some of the defense gave up over 31 points last year. Man, it ain't good down in UVA.
They're probably going to start 0-3 hosting NC State. They're probably going to lose to JMU at home because JMU is going to get
well,
hyped
that's
for
the
that
game. That's one on VEASAN. They were favored in that game, and I put down in the notebook, I said, James Madison's going to beat this UVA team.
They're going to play up for that game. That's a big win for them to put an ACC win. Doesn't matter if it's UVA. To them, it's we went up to the ACC and we won.
Well, I mean, I think it is matters to UVA. That's like, they're right there.
No, it
like,
matters to them. I'm saying like strength of schedule wise.
Oh yeah.
No,
but I just think.
And it does matter
out for that game,
for sure,
because they know they can get them.
Exactly,
they're going to be coming
exactly.
in. Yeah,
this is like ODU, Virginia Tech.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to know how bad Virginia Tech is? They don't have a player ranked on the ACC first team or second team. Not even a defensive guy, which is crazy because that's what they've always been known for. You basically have to go to third string to find a Virginia Tech guy. That's how far they've fallen.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fuente crushed that program.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a normal process, though. When you have like a long-time legendary coach,
sure,
it's more often than not the next coach, for whatever reason, it doesn't work, and then you have like the cleanup guy, right? And like like he was saying, you lose all that momentum, you kind of have to restart everything again, and hopefully you can like touch base with your checkbooks and everything else to get it going. But I mean, they just need to calm down the roster transition. Somebody, I think it was VEASAN or one of the podcasts I listened to today, said that Bot Texas is a revolving door of people right now, and that needs to stop. Like, you have to have some consistency year in, year out. And I don't think Grant Wells will be the quarterback. He's just too inconsistent turning the ball over. They just don't have the offensive weaponry to be able to afford that right now. But they do have 4 units ranked by Phil Still, so it's not completely empty, but it's pretty empty.
They're scrappy.
Yeah.
All right.
So can I pose a question?
Yeah,
go for it.
How about we name who wins this conference, and then after whoever wins it, will one of those teams make the Final Four?
Ooh.
No.
All right. Well, you start us off. Who wins the ACC?
I like Clemson.
I would.
And, again, I haven't dove in. I'm diving in, just starting to get into some of the other ones. I think Clemson can be in the Final Four. So I will say yes.
I think Clemson wins it at 11-1. I do think they beat. Man. Yeah.
Clemson really needs Notre Dame to be good.
I think they beat Florida State because it's at home. I think this game comes down to Norvell and Dabo, and I think Dabo gets Norvell.
And I think Florida State is going to be good. But that's a great point, too, Jason. You got to look at the schedule. Because, again, the Big Ten is going to be so loaded. I think
the Big Ten and SEC are going to get 2. One of them's getting in 2.
With Michigan and Ohio State, Penn State, we talked about how good they should be this year.
No, don't.
Oh, okay. Well, we like Penn State. I bragged up. Woo!
I mean, I guess
Q must have got off the show when we broke down Penn State a little bit last week. All right. Woo! That came in hot in the studio, man. Wow.
No, I'll tell you, I don't think Clemson's going to get in. I'll tell you the team. A little foreshadow. I think Texas gets in.
I don't believe that.
That would be interesting.
That'd be nice.
I like yours, dude.
I agree with you on Florida State. I think they're a 10-2 team. But if you look at their schedule, if they would run the table there, I think they could actually.
If they run the table, yes. But I don't see it happening.
They would have that big win early against LSU. They would have 2 wins against the SEC, which does matter. And then they would have
an away against Clemson.
Yeah, so you have a really good looking schedule.
Oh, if they run the table, they'll get in. I just don't think they'll beat Clemson, and that's going to matter.
Okay, how about one loss? If it's LSU in a close game and it's 11-1,
I think Texas loses more than one game.
Personally, I think they could lose LSU or Florida because you could even say Florida's the rivalry game.
Yeah, but it's too late though. That's the only other reason I would agree if Florida was earlier in the schedule, but being in the last week of the season,
I guess it depends on what other teams are doing.
It's a voter thing, right?
Yeah,
They're like, oh,
sure,
all of a sudden they're terrible. It's like,
yeah,
It's hard to say who's going to be in because who loses that. But again, I think it's a possibility. If Clemson runs the table, I'm saying they're in. If I think they run the table.
See, I'm Florida State. I think Florida State runs the table, but there's a huge asterisk to it. If it's not out of the ordinary that they're going to lose to LSU week 1. And then if they lose to Clemson in the end of September, you can rip up any Florida State ticket set.
absolutely. That's true.
Absolutely.
So
Great
you're
point.
You're going to know by October if Florida State has a legit shot or not.
Yeah.
If they're 1-1, they're still alive. If they have 2 losses on there, it's over. Forget it.
I know the fight happened last week in LSU's camp, but there's a lot of good positive talk about LSU's team being even better than last year. And if I'm not mistaken, LSU stole that game last year.
Yeah.
So
I think LSU is going to be really good.
I do too. I'm not looking into that fight. I mean, fights happen all the time in NFL. It also happens in college. It doesn't matter. The guys are feisty. That's a tough LSU game to play opening day. I just don't know if – I mean, look at the coach. You know, the coach, it's so slid one way to LSU. Now you're getting him in year 2. I just don't see Florida State doing it.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like LSU is.
Take LSU minus. I'm telling it right now at 8:21 p.m. on August 9th. Take LSU -3. Mark it. Scott, mark that. 8:21 August 9th. LSU -3. If you can catch the hook, -2.5, take it. Put your mortgage on. It'll be paid off on the 4th.
Responsibly.
Some mortgages are due around the 4th. That's a great
I'm
deal.
responsible when I pay my mortgage off.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going to throw out one game since you just did Q. At 8:22 p.m. on August 9th,
Let's go.
I like Duke week 1 against Clemson getting 12.5.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow. Man, we're coming out fire tonight on college football.
Is that going up or is that going down?
I don't know. I grabbed it last week. Or technically Sunday when I did my research when I was 10.
Yeah. I
was
think it's
12.5.
I actually think you're getting more points at Duke right now than you were. And I agree with you, though. I think Duke's the team because you have your systems in. We talked about what they were bringing back. 7 units ranked in Phil Steele's national rankings, which Duke came from nowhere, and they've got 7 units ranked, which is as many as Pitt, UNC, and the 2 top teams. And then Clemson's put a whole new offense in, which, that could be that's really been their bugaboo, is their offense has just been terrible the last couple of years.
You are getting more now. The line was 10.5. So if you're getting Duke at 12.5, you're looking great.
Yeah,
let that money hammer Clemson. Let that line just keep on going up.
That's right, Q. Maybe we'll keep it.
That could be a
That's
teaser king play
That's a
of the week. I love it.
I don't even think you need to tease that.
No.
I'll tell you what. Wait. Don't bet that one now. Wait until the morning of. That might get up to 14.
This show might affect it.
Well, I'll text somebody right now and say move that line.
Move that line. We got some people out in Vegas right now. Move that line.
But I don't think. I mean, if it's already up 2.5 by game time,
I think it's 14. I think you'll get.
Yeah, I think you will.
BetMGM might have some kind of software that as soon as you hear Teaser King go over airwaves, the line there.
I love it. Hey, let's dive in real quick because I know Maddie wants to talk about this. We only have a couple minutes here. You got the NFL preseason really kicking off. You had the Hall of Fame game last Thursday, which I'm going to give a shout out. Old man in the garage. He said, take Cleveland. He said to take the over. And all he did was win.
I think we had two. Well,
I lost.
Right.
I had the Jets.
Yeah, we lost.
And the Jets look great.
But I'll tell you, we were both right.
But
we said Matt was right in his quarterback, DTR.
Well, I was going to brag up Matt a lot here.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Yeah, I'm saying.
I
we
mean,
were
Matty
right.
was going to probably brag himself up, and that's what we
were
do
right with
usually
Zach
on this
Wilson,
show.
too, though.
We're not too shy
No.
about bragging ourselves up on this show. But Matty called that really too, baby, because that kid out of UCLA. I mean, he
did
called it.
run.
I mean,
I think he had 40 yards rushing.
and it was funny. One of my father-in-law came up, and we were watching the game, and I said, he goes, "Who do you have tonight?" I go, "The Jets." And he goes, "I'm on the Browns." He goes, "Let's just do." I'm like, "All right." And he goes, "Well, I'm going to owe you some money." I go, "No, you're not," because I said you can just tell the Jets quarterbacks aren't good. Look at this kid out of UCLA. I said Cleveland's going to win this game. I'm like, I can just give you the money right now.
Well, I think Zach Wilson looked pretty solid.
Oh, the Jets early looked okay.
So I think we were both right. Like my basis, I lost the game, but my basis was correct. Zach Wilson had to prove something. He looked good.
Yeah, I mean,
then Matt, he gets the win, and he was dead right.
Well, the problem is I didn't take the. I'll rip on me. I don't want to rip on you. I'll rip on me. I should have taken the first half Jets. That was a bad bet by me then because Cleveland
Props to you, Matt.
was a better play. So, all right. So let me throw out before then I'm going to let Matt go and maybe Jason and if Q wants. I have not really dove in. I wrote really quick a couple things and we can just finish with this. But Old Man in the Garage again, 2-0 starting, and this guy just does it. Looks in the cul-de-sac and sees an image and a vision, and he goes with it. Tomorrow night, he likes New England. New England against the Texans. Plus 3.5, take New England. That's his play. Matty, what do you got on preseason football?
I wasn't going to toot my own horn at all, but I think the stat, not even a stat, just go to depth charts and look at the quarterbacks. Who's rolling? So I like Old Man in the Garage's play. However, I think what's his name? D'Amico Ryans is going to try to set a whole new precedent down there. And it's going to kind of be like the Dan Campbell theory that we got to get used to winning. I do think New England's going to win. I don't know if they're going to cover. They have 4 quarterbacks who are actually all serviceable. And just like DTR, they're going to finish with Malik Cunningham. He might run for 40 yards in the final period too, against the third string team. Now, the Texans actually have 3 good quarterbacks as well, but I don't know how much they're going to play Stroud. And then they have the neck man, Davis Mills, and the third guy is Hayes Keenum.
Do you think they sell giraffes that just are wearing Davis Mills jerseys?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, but I actually like the under on the New England and Texans game.
I do too. 37.
Yeah. Give me the under on that one. And then another game that I do like. Who is Arizona playing preseason?
Dolphins. Or no. Sorry. Wrong game.
Yep. The Broncos.
Broncos,
Give
yes.
me the Broncos. And I'm even going to say they cover. I think Arizona is poo-poo. Their quarterbacks are god-awful.
I haven't even looked. Do they even have McCoy still?
I don't think so, right?
I think he's gone.
No, I don't think so.
No.
And it's new regime. Sean Payton, who's already firing off, spouting off like no other, which is fine by me. But, yeah, Arizona's depth chart at quarterback. Oh, it is Colt McCoy, Clayton Tune, David Blau, Jeff Driscoll.
A couple of those
Well,
guys.
Driscoll's not terrible.
It's a lot of. Oh God, where do you go to school, Q?
Don't worry about it. We don't necessarily claim him, but I'm saying he has NFL experience. Is I guess where I was going with that.
Good one, Jason.
Well, here's where I'm going to go with that real quick. Denver. We all know Russ ain't cooking anymore, but he's going to play a little bit to get used to the
He'll
system.
do a series.
Yeah, but then the backup is Stidham, who I guess Peyton absolutely loves and has raved about. The problem is then they bring in Ben DiNucci, who might throw 4 interceptions in the final 2 quarters and even it out. But I'd love the Broncos to win their first game.
Do not speak ill of Ben DiNucci.
I know.
To be honest, I forgot he went there.
Tremendous Seattle Sea Dragon.
XFL. Come on now. Let's go here.
I think it's crazy he's in a league and Teamu's not.
I do too. I don't understand there with Tiamu.
I don't get it.
I like Ben DiNucci.
Maybe he's got an issue. Maybe he's got a mental issue
Gunslinger.
or something because Teamu looked great and he's not in the league.
Man, I kind of like. I tell you, Matt made a great point.
Interception prop.
Yeah,
Well, there could be. Look,
who's gonna have more, DiNucci or Dak?
I mean, look at the depth charts on this, and look at the quarterbacks. And one team I'm looking really quick because I have not dove into this at all. But the Dolphins plus 2.5 against the Falcons.
They have good quarterback room.
Dolphins have great quarterbacks,
they do.
man. They have good quarterbacks there. Browns, again, -3 against the Commanders. I like the Browns. I mean, I saw on a thing today, Jake Fromm might play most of the second half for the Commanders, and then you add in now, isn't it Jake Fromm out of Georgia, right? The old guy.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I didn't know that's where he ended up.
Yeah, that's where he ended up. I didn't know either. I saw a show today, and they were saying that they're like, God, this guy is not good. And he might play like the majority of the second half here. And then with the Browns again, you get the kid out of UCLA. Now, Mond is not good. Mond did not look good for the Browns last week. I wasn't high on him at all there. But I kind of like the Browns. They already got a game in. You had some problems with the Commanders this week in camp, with about Bieniemy and everything like that. So that's a spot.
I think that's smoke and mirrors.
I don't know. I think you got some issues there. Rivera was really bad trying to read a statement off an index card.
Yeah,
today.
but he's always been like that.
He's horrible. I think there's problems there, but I'll hold that for the season. Hey, quarterbacks, and I'm not trying to jump on this. Steelers. I mean, Kenny Pickett's supposed to get some start.
Great quarterback room.
Supposed to get
some.
Supposed to play a little bit. Then you get Trubisky. Then you get Rudolph. Then you get the kid out of Minnesota, Morgan, against Tampa Bay. Now, great thing about Tampa Bay. Our guys over here is very happy because Trask
he's doing really well.
And he might be the starter because
he's a co-starter. They just announced.
Yes. Mayfield's going to start.
They're running a 2-quarterback system.
But that one, the only thing I like about that is Steelers went from -1.5 and it jumped up to 3. I kind of like the Steelers this week too. And I wrote down Broncos because Matty sold me on that. So that's some of my early thoughts. Go for it, Matt.
Real quick. I had boots on the ground up at Latrobe, PA, watching Steelers camp for a few days. Not myself, good source. They said Pickett, arm strength, questionable. George Pickens, they said, looks phenomenal.
That was a
steal. He
steal.
said Mason Rudolph actually looks like he's regressed 20 steps and might not even make the team. So I'd be careful of that game.
Okay,
if
great.
That's who you're ending up with is Mason Rudolph.
I like the line. I like the line move. So, but that's great. That's great info.
Buyer beware.
Okay, great info.
Steelers can just survive Trask. I can see them winning that game.
Yeah,
it's deadly out there.
Jason, any quick thoughts? Any quick games you like?
No, you kind of stole my thought with the Steelers. Their quarterbacks are like so experienced. That's kind of an unfair
Dolphins,
advantage.
great play.
I like the Dolphins too.
I like
Man,
the
that's
Dolphins
a great
too.
teaser spot, isn't it, man? I got to give one teaser for the.
You got a guy shooting for a backup
Preseason
spot who
teaser.
almost beat the Bills.
Man, I got to
in the
give
playoffs.
one teaser, man. One
Oh,
teaser, and the
God.
Dolphins would be a great spot. Up to add that with
Dolphins,
somebody
Broncos.
else, up to 8.5. Oh,
You got
my-
Mike White and Skylar Thompson duking it out for second string.
Thompson was fantastic.
Thompson almost beat the Bills in the playoffs.
And White. If White was starting for the Jets, they probably would have made the playoffs. So,
All right.
oh, there we go, man. What a lot of football, man. We're gonna have a blast this fall. We're gonna give out a lot of winners, everything like that. So.
I think Tribe Called Jess is coming on there. I think she's doing the Big Ten next, so stay tuned.
She's gonna talk about the hottest guys in the Big Ten coming up next.
We're
So,
talking about on the field. She's talking about the tailgates, the post parties, Big Ten's finest.
all right, man. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Q, what do we always say?
Bang your bookies.
Thanks for listening to the Notebook Wagering Podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, and be sure to follow @Notebook Wagering. Until next time.